then I see Daniel Bryan winning. It's probably the most obvious way. Obvious direction they got to go in. Now, if Daniel doesn't win, then it tells you that the Beast Incarnate's not staying. This match here, in the United States Championship match, which I'll talk about in a little bit, this match here, along with that U.S. title match, will be the determining factors for fans watching on whether or not Brock remains or he leaves. But this is the way I look at it. Booking-wise, you want to make up to the fans for the fact that you didn't put Daniel Bryan in the main event. You didn't give him that shot. Here's what you do. You give him the Intercontinental Championship. You make him a Grand Slam champion. Or, yeah, basically a Grand Slam champion or a Triple Crown winner, whatever you want to call it. You finally make him legendary status, is what you do, by giving him this belt. And if the plan is to get prestige back around it because of him, then I say go for it. But I'm not saying Daniel's going to win, even though it's most likely an obvious and smartest booking decision they can go with. I think you got another factor, Dean Ambrose. So the two top picks here, to me, have to be Daniel or Ambrose. Wild cards would be Ziggler, and if sources are correct, a possible returning Sheamus should he insert himself into that matchup for the Intercontinental Championship. That's what I look at. The two obvious directions is Ambrose or Bryan. The wild cards are Ziggler and a possible returning Sheamus. That's what I see. And like I said, the other option, which I don't know if they'll go with or not, is Bad News retaining. But I think the most likely scenarios, either Daniel Bryan, which is probably the strongest one, and Dean Ambrose, which is not that far behind. You know, I know Schleg Daddy said he wants to see R-Truth win it, but guess what? I think this is just to help R-Truth get some character development maybe before he starts to consider retirement. Just saying. Then we get the Divas tag team match. And I know a lot of people are looking at this and they're saying, here's a piss break, here's a shit break, here's a nap break. Basically go take a nap for a few minutes and wake back up. If you live next to a convenience store or gas station, here's a go to the gas station, get a case of beer break. Whatever you want to call it. And I know the Divas haven't been treated very well, but I think this might actually surprise us. And I do think the smartest thing to do is have Paige and AJ go over. Now tonight on Raw, which will probably have already aired by the time you watch this, but tonight on Raw, March 23rd, like I said, which had probably already aired by the time you watch this. Tonight on Raw will determine how they book the Divas tag match. That's how I look at it. So we'll see what happens, but my prediction, and I think the best booking decision, is to let AJ and Paige win. I really do. Unless Paige goes heel and aligns herself with the Bellas and does a whole total Divas stick together deal. But we'll see what happens. As far as the U.S. Championship match, now I've said in another video where I talked about what will be the real main event of WrestleMania, and this to me is still one of the three top options to close out the show. It is. I know people don't want to hear that, but it is. But like I say, it is. So, to me, Cena and Rusev. You know, there's no doubt in maybe people's minds that Cena's going to win, but knowing WWE, they like to throw a wild card or, at you. They like to throw you a curve at times because you don't think WWE doesn't know and doesn't think you guys realize Cena's going to probably win to the point that they might throw you a curveball? Because they will. They will throw you guys a curveball. And that curveball could be Rusev winning. Now, if that happens, then hey, great. It elevates Rusev to a main event status. He beat the 15-time world champion not just once at the inaugural Fastlane pay-per-view, but on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. So, to me, that would be the curveball, that would be the surprise direction to go in, the surprise booking direction for them to go in. Which wouldn't hurt Rusev at all. It'd actually elevate him to the top. And I even agree with some people as well when I say Rusev losing is not going to hurt him, and that's true too. Because the guy's damn near being unstoppable. He's undefeated, in singles competition. So basically him losing to Cena on the grand stage, all he does is lose the U.S. title, but he doesn't lose his momentum. He doesn't. How many wrestlers in the past that have had the momentum he's had, if you will, that's been a champion going into WrestleMania or any big event, lost the title, but still regained that stature? Being unstoppable, being a monster. There's quite a few, if you ask me. Even some that are still around today, and people wish would just go away. But the point is, it's not going to hurt Rusev if he loses. But like I said, a surprise booking decision would be for them to have Rusev go over. But I think the obvious booking decision to send people home happy, or at least make them say that they enjoyed the show somewhat, is to have Cena beat Rusev and bring the United States Championship back to the U.S. Now, like I said earlier, with the Intercontinental ladder match, this match and its outcome will determine whether Brock is staying or he's leaving. If Cena wins and Daniel wins, then Brock's leaving. If Cena wins and someone else wins the Intercontinental title, then Brock's staying. That's about it. Okay, I know I didn't make any sense there. What I meant to say was, if Cena doesn't win and Daniel wins, Brock's leaving. If Cena wins, Daniel loses, Brock's leaving. If both don't win, Brock's leaving. End of story. But if both win, Brock's staying. That's basically what I meant. That's what I meant. I told you earlier in the first video, I'm tired, it's been a long day, but that's what I was talking about. If these two matches, this match and the ladder match, will tell us either way if Brock's remaining with the company or he's leaving the company. Like I said, if Cena doesn't beat Rusev, but Daniel wins the Intercontinental title, good likely chance Lesnar's gone. Same thing with if Cena wins and Daniel doesn't win the Intercontinental title. If Cena wins the U.S. title, but Daniel doesn't win the Intercontinental title, Lesnar's gone. If both don't win, which would be a surprise, then Lesnar's gone. But if both win, Lesnar's staying. That's about it. That's basically about the whole situation there. If both win, Lesnar's staying. So that's how you're going to know whether or not that whether or not Brock Lesnar is going to remain with the company. So, hold on for a second. But like I said, that'll determine whether or not Brock's remaining with the company or not. That's basically how you're going to know. So it's kind of up in the air, but like I said, those two matches are going to tell you right off the bat if he's staying or he's going. Either way. As far as Undertaker Bray Wyatt goes, I know some people are not looking forward to this match, but some are starting to grow on it. I can tell that Schleg Daddy, as much as he may not want to admit it, he's starting to slowly grow on it as well. I mean, come on, it's The Undertaker. And I know some people have said that The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt should main event WrestleMania. I'm not disputing that, but I don't think that's going to happen. And that's probably why you're wondering right now why I didn't include it as one of the options in my two-part video of what will be the real main event of WrestleMania 31. The fact is, I don't think it's going to be. I think it might be the second to last match or the third to last match, but I don't think it's going to be the main event. I don't think it's going to be the one that closes out the show. Is it going to be a good match? Probably. Be a decent match. Who do I see going over? Well, obviously, storyline-wise, there's a lot of talk of Bray Wyatt wanting to become the new face of fear. In other words, become the new phenom of the WWE. And there's a lot of Bray Wyatt fans that could get behind that. And they're like, yeah, this guy could be the next phenom. He could be the next, well, to be complimentary, the next Undertaker-like character. He could be. But then again, there's a lot of fans that want Undertaker to win because, well, one, it's WrestleMania, and you already had the Undertaker give up the streak, so you got to give him something back, even if this is going to be one of his last appearances in the ring competing. I mean, I look at this match, and I look at his match with Sting next year, because that's going to happen, folks. Whether you want to admit it or not, it's going to happen next year at WrestleMania in AT&T Stadium. Him and Sting be his last matches. These are going to be his last two matches against Bray Wyatt and next year against Sting. That is, if they don't get him to compete in between then, like they did before, to try to get him on a semi-regular basis again. If he's more like a once a year, maybe twice a year deal, this, with the possibility of doing another match later this year, and WrestleMania could be his last three matches, maybe four matches, depending on how they work things out and how healthy and how good in shape he is. So, but there's a lot of fans that feel that Undertaker's got to win this, and I agree with them. I mean, I like Bray Wyatt. Who doesn't? He's phenomenal. I mean, what they've done with Mike Rotundo's son, they've allowed him to do, that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot. And to me, I think, honestly, this is going to be a good matchup. I really do. I really do see this as being a good matchup. And as much, as I would like to see maybe Bray Wyatt get that rub and go over the Undertaker, I see the Undertaker winning this and possibly going out, if this is going to be his last match, going out on top. But I also see him winning this and getting some momentum. Because, come on, you can't have him win his match. You can't have him lose this match, I should say, to Bray Wyatt if you're going to set up a similar situation with him and the Vigilante for the next year, for next year's WrestleMania. You can't do that. You can't. You got to have Taker win. And you gotta make him look good. And I think it will be a good match. It might be one of the better matches of the night. It might surprise people, but I hope Taker wins, and I think that's the smart decision to make, especially if you're gonna set up for next year's Mania between him and Sting. And don't deny it, folks. It's gonna happen. Now, as far as Sting and Triple H go, this is going to be a real interesting situation. There's a lot of people that say that Triple H cannot let himself be put over by Sting. Because basically, I know what some people will be thinking. It'll be basically like you're just bringing in Sting so he can job to Triple H and make it look like no matter who the WWE brings in, nobody can stop the authority. Yeah, I don't think that's going to go over very well. That might go over as well as a fart in church, as the old saying goes. But to me, the most logical option is to go with Sting over Triple H. And what I think will probably be one of the matches of the night. I think will be one of the matches of the night. I really do. Well, but I really think it'll be one of the matches of the night. I mean, Sting looks like he's in good shape. You know, WWE's not trotting him out there every day or every week like TNA did. Hold on, folks. But like I said, they're not trotting him out every week like TNA did. I look at WWE doing what TNA should have done, and that's using Sting sporadically, leaving him for big moments. And I believe there's not going to be a bigger moment than Mania, and you cannot just bring him in the job. That'd be stupid. So to me, Sting's got to win here, just as the same as Undertaker's got to win, so that when they do come face to face, which a lot of people are predicting could happen, either at Mania or the post-WrestleMania edition of Raw the next night, both of them winning's the only way you're going to set up a decent build to their match at WrestleMania next year. And again, don't deny it not happening, because it will. It will. It's going to happen. I know some people may not like to hear that, but it will. And the only way you can set up it perfectly is to have both go over. So I do see Sting winning, but I'm not ruling out possibly Triple H getting the win. But if Triple H is a businessman and he knows what's right for business, you gotta put Sting over in his first match in the WWE, especially at WrestleMania. I mean, look what Chris Jericho did for Fandango. Okay? That was his first official match on the main roster, going from Johnny Curtis to that. So, and Jericho put him over. Triple H has got to do the same thing with Sting. Now, as far as Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar go, this is a match that a lot of people are not happy to see. And this is a match that the WWE pretty much doesn't know how they're going to work it. They don't know how they're going to book it. They don't know how they're going to place it on the card. But here's a match that if it goes on last, Levi Stadium is going to basically boo both competitors right out of the damn building. They are. No matter whether or not Brock Lesnar stays or remains, they're going to boo him, they're going to boo Roman, they're going to boo them all out of the building. And you know what? I wouldn't blame them. I mean, I like Roman and I like Brock. I really do. But I just do not think them going on last and closing out the show is the best thing for WWE to do. I think the WWE needs to put on a match last that will send the fans home happy. They got to do that. I mean, it's too risky for WWE not to do that. It's too risky for them. But what do I see happening? Well, if Brock remains with the company, I do see him retaining. I do see it. Because at least WWE will realize, okay, Roman's not ready yet. But there's still the possibilities that Roman could win and Brock remains. They could basically follow the damn storyline of 2K15, where your created star or established star worked up the ranks of the WWE, and one of the last matches was against Brock, and after the match, after you defeated Brock, Brock left. And said he'll come, and have Heyman saying he'll come back when he feels like it. So they could play out a similar storyline should Roman beat Brock and Brock remains. I mean, of course, there's a leaked script going out there, a leaked script for the finish. There's Vince McMahon involved and all that, and basically firing Brock should Brock lose. Now, with that said, depending on how they go with it, do we see a cash-in? There's a lot of people like Jeff Shiegel, that's the Schleg Daddy, that feel that's got to happen. It's the most obvious way to go if Roman wins, but you want to send the crowd home happy.